Gin is one of the UK's most loved tipples.
In fact, it was so popular in the 1700s that in an effort to lower the consumption of gin, the UK government made it so you needed a licence to make it. A licence that in today's money would cost you around £8,000. Whilst that sounds extreme, the reality was that the average person was consuming around 10 litres of gin a year. These laws, introduced in 1751, were only repealed in 2008. Today, there are over 100 distilleries in Scotland alone, boasting a bountiful collection of over 500 gins. With variety like that, it's no wonder gin is so popular. Join me as I take a dive into the world of spirits and discover what it is that people love so much about the juniper-based concoction.
I'm here in the sunny East End of Glasgow at the Barris Markets to meet Stuart Downer, head distiller at Crossbill Distilling,
and talk about all things gin.
We started making gin there in 2013 up in Aviemore and moved here to our new home in the Barrowlands in 2017. So we're named after the Scottish bird. It's the only endemic bird to the UK, so it's only found in the Highlands of Scotland, nowhere else in the world. So it's small, stubborn and Scottish, much like what we do as a gin distillery. I'm now going to run you through a small distillation.
Great.
This is what we do as part of our gin school classes. This gives everyone a chance to get hands-on and become a distiller for the day. Making gin is, I guess, slightly different from whiskies, which I guess Scotland's more predominantly known for. It's actually rectification than distillation. So we are not creating the alcohol, we are starting with a blank template. So we buy in alcohol at around 96% proof, so very high strength, neutral base. We then add our flavours to it. So it's like buying a white t-shirt and putting your logo on top of it. We buy a blank sheet and then add our flavours, then diluted down slightly and infused with the botanicals and the flavours. So a really high strength, pure wheat vodka, essentially. We then add some heat to that. The alcohol boils at a lower temperature than water, so that's 78.3 degrees. The alcohol being a great solvent, it pulls out all the flavours from the botanicals, it turns it to a vapour, it then passes through what we call the swan neck into a condenser. The condenser is constantly kept cold, so it turns that vapour back into a liquid, which we then collect. That's kind of our gin concentrate. So very high strength, around 80 to 86% proof usually, packed full of flavour. So too strong to drink on its own. It's then diluted down using water, our source being Loch Catrin. So what we're going to do now is do a quick measure of your ABV. We're going to read the temperature of your gin. There we are, cold and steady at 26 degrees. We'll now get our alcometer, which will measure the density. Let's call it 42.5. Okay. So 42.5 at 26 degrees will lead us to a steady 40.1%. So great. Above the threshold to be a gin, which is 37.5, so we have created a gin here.
Good.
Excellent.
Oh, that makes me happy.
Yes, so we will.
It is actually a gin.
It's very pleasant. The tonic
like
just
that a
adds
lot,
that little bit of
actually.
sweetness, it's
Yeah.
really lifted it. I think there's only one proper way to seal a craft bottle of gin, that's with a wax finish. Pop it in upside down, give it a little sugar around, give it a quick turn, quick dip into the cold water. Pop it down on the desk, and then we'll finish it with a nice Crossbill branded seal.
From my experience at Crossbill Distilling, it was clear to me just how passionate Stuart is about his craft, and it was fascinating to see the full gin distillation process from start to finish. I'm now headed to Frankie's Cafe Bar to chat with Martin Reed, who started an online business called the Gin Cooperative a few years ago.
I set up the business partly with my wife in 2017, and it was set up to help promote and showcase Scottish gin to consumers and to the industry. From there, we also launched our e-commerce site, scottishgin.com. We've got a variety of editorial features, we've got a variety of downloadable content, an A to Z of Scottish gin that's got 550 plus Scottish gins all individually profiled, got all the brands, all the botanicals, the background behind the brands. So it's a real online, in-depth resource for anyone who wants to learn more about Scottish gin.
Why do you think that gin has shot up so much in popularity in these recent years?
I think because it's such a diverse spirit that there's no one type of person that's a gin drinker. It's a very diverse spirit. It's made by a diverse range of people from all walks of backgrounds who've all got a story to tell.
Martin, what do you think are some of the challenges facing the future of the industry in Scotland?
A lot of the Scottish supply chain comes in from Europe, so because of Brexit, they've definitely found there's been a lot more red tape. In terms of COVID, there was a lot of producers had a lot of really exciting opportunities ahead of them, so they had export deals. Because of COVID and the various lockdowns, those sort of sales channels basically closed overnight.
I suppose, yourselves at the Gin Cooperative, you were already quite well placed when the pandemic came along.
Yeah, we were quite fortunate in the fact that we were a predominantly digitally based business anyway. So, we were already working from our home office. So when COVID happened, we did a number of interviews as well on Facebook Live. We did, I think by the end of COVID, we'd done about 45 interviews. So literally at one point we were doing an interview a week. They're definitely releasing more niche products to the market, and they've definitely refocused their time on their core products.
Sure, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, cool, thank you very much.
With creative distillers like Stuart and adoring fans like Martin, it's safe to say the future of gin is in good hands. Can I get another one, please?